Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame. That's Yugi peoples. Welcome to the commentary. Alright, so in this one right here, I will be showing off my pure elemental hero Cosmo Neos deck. And yeah, it's one of the somebody had requested like a combo video. So before I get around to the combo video, I figured I would post one of the duels, which I typically don't post too many Cosmos Neos duels too much anymore, because basically it's just like me first for Cosmos Neos locking them, you know. But with this one, since I don't have the Vision Heroes off inside of here, it feels like it requires a lot more thought process, and it's a little bit harder to do the combo and such. But as you can see here, we're going to start off with a hero lives. We're going to use Stratos' effect to go ahead and grab our Shadow Mist. Then we're going to use that Crosskeeper. And, like I said in my deck profile, one of the things about this deck is that you have to either draw the Crosskeeper or one of the power spells in order to go along with it in order to make the full combo work. Because, you just don't get enough monsters out on the board without Ferris and the increase in the Valion and, to be able to make like the, what's his name, Infernal Divisor, and be able to, grab the Dolphin and such. So yeah, we're going to use the Crosskeeper to special summon out our Spirit of Neos. Then Spirit of Neos will grab Instant Contact. Then we'll shuffle him in for our OG Neos and use Instant Contact. And we're going to bring out the Dolphin, which is going to allow us to destroy one of the cards in his hand by also pitching that Shadow Mist that we do have in our hand. And I was trying to decide if I was going to go ahead and use my Crosskeeper. So I am special summon the Elemental Hero Fusion Monster. So we're going to shuffle it up, and we'll be able to draw 2 cards and put one to the bottom with our Crosskeeper's effect. Figure might as well go ahead and get that in there. We throw the Engage Neo space to the bottom as we don't need it, since we've already got our Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos to the board. Now the Aqua Dolphins effect, and we see that he is on Goblin Bikers. And they typically have like graveyard effects, but I think they have to have an Exceed monster on the board in order for that to work. So we're going to use we're going to use Shadow Mist effect to go ahead and grab our Blaze Man so that we can get access to Polymerization here. We're going to link off those 2 guys to get our Infernal Divisor. And we're going to reveal the Nebula Neo so that we can go ahead and add the 2 Neo Spacians from our deck to our hand. We already had the vanilla Neos in our deck. So now the last piece is we need to get to that Aqua Dolphin somehow. Well, actually, we even have access to the Aqua Dolphin because it looked like we opened up Neo space. So now I'm just thinning out my deck, drawing cards, making sure that I special summon out my Infernal Rays, drawing, stuff. Luckily, my opponent didn't have any hand traps or anything to stop me. We're going to go ahead and make the Wonder Driver here before we activate the Polymerization, fusing our Stratos and our Liquid Soldier to go ahead and make our Sunrise, because since we have the vanilla Neos inside the graveyard, we'll be able to make our Infernal Rage with the vanilla Neos that is already inside of the graveyard, since we wouldn't have them in our hand, so we wouldn't be able to tribute off the Infernal Rage to special summon Sunrise, since we wouldn't have had a normal monster in order to make the Infernal Rage. So even though we did have it, we went ahead and activated the other poly to go ahead and put the Infernal Rage out on the board to just go ahead and save that Miracle Fusion. Then here, we're going to go ahead and activate that Neos Fusion. We're going to send the Vanilla Neos and Aqua Dolphin to the graveyard to special summon our Brave Neos. And this will also allow us to, just go ahead and have the full combo there. Where during the standby phase, we're going to go ahead and flip up that favorite contact, and that is going to allow us to special summon our Cosmo Neos into the Wonder Driver zone, and that will allow us to go ahead and set one of our cards. Go ahead and set that poly back to the field while also locking our opponent out of the turn. I mean, he still can activate, some things if he has like, a way to activate some stuff in graveyard, or just ways to just activate and play things from the hand and such. And I think he actually does have like some things that are like inherent summons and everything and stuff, but I do believe he goes ahead and normal summons out. Since I did special summon multiple times from the extra deck, he goes ahead and makes Typhon, and he's gonna try to use Typhon to bounce something back to our hand, but he cannot bounce anything back to our hand because of Cosmo Neos, so it's fine for him to go ahead and summon the Typhon. And I do believe he could attack into any of the monsters he wanted to try to attack into, and we're gonna just go ahead and be able to use the Neos fusion to keep the monster from being destroyed by battle. And it's just like the thing we have to keep in mind with coming up on the next turn is that monsters with 3,000 or more attack cannot activate their effects. But I don't think it ends up being like how do you say, it doesn't end up being like necessarily relevant. We're gonna go ahead and normal summon out our Liquid Soldier, use his effect to special summon Stratos effect to destroy back row, and I believe it is XYZ import or something like that. So it's going to allow him to attach one of my monsters to his Typhon for as an exceed material. So yeah, he over there stealing stuff, and he's black, so that's to be expected. It's a joke, y'all. It's a joke. But yeah, now we're gonna switch our monsters into attack position. And I was just trying to make sure that I have enough damage to go ahead and finish him off. And just to be sure, I believe that I just go ahead and make Big Chill here. And I just want to make sure that I have enough damage on board to finish him off. We're going to flip up the polymerization, fusing those two guys together. Then we're going to use the Miracle Fusion to banish the not the Liquid Soldier, but to banish the Ab-Zero and another elemental hero to go ahead and make up our, most likely to make the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, and that'll destroy the Typhon, and we'll proceed to battle phase and destroy him with those cards right there. So yeah, as you can see, like, if you open up with the power spells in this deck, or, in this case, actually, I opened up with one of the power spells because it looked like I opened up with Neos Fusion and I opened up with the Crosskeeper. So it made it, it enabled me to be able to do the Cosmo Neos Lock here. Now, going into game 2, of course, one of the things you want to make sure to do, which, I should probably talk a little bit more about my side decking options as, in games such as this. But one of the main things, I typically side out Favorite Contact. I side out all 3 of the Neospatians because I'm not trying to Cosmos Neos Lock my opponent. Also, I side out the Engage Neospaces because without the Neospatians off in there, they're completely dead. I believe I side out at least one of the vanilla Neoses, and I do believe that, like, in some cases, depending on the matchup, I actually side out at least one of the Spirit of Neoses also, since I won't be special summoning it with Engage Neospace or, and such. So, I feel like whether I draw it or not, it's not like a big deal as such. But, we side in more going second cards or, like hand traps and such. So in this case, playing against Goblin Bikers, I know they do a whole bunch of summoning, and it's pretty hard for them to get an Omni Negate out there on the board. So yeah, Nib, I feel like is very, 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 very effective against this deck. As you can see, he starts doing Goblin Biker stuff, Exceed summoning a whole bunch of stuff from grave, just throwing out monsters out there on the board. And I do believe I decide to go ahead and hit him when he decides to go into the XYZ that would allow him to start drawing cards and such, because, I just rather not give them the extra card advantage. But yeah, as you can see, he's like searching, adding, summoning, searching, adding, summoning, Exceed summoning. I believe this is when he goes into that XYZ monster that would allow him to draw a card. And then I think like one of them lets him search out a trap, and the trap can be pretty crazy and stuff too. But yeah, when he brings that guy out there, now I'm just trying to check with the graveyard effects and such are, just to make sure they're not going to be special summoning, just like throwing themselves back out onto the board for free if I go ahead and have them sent to the graveyard here with Nib. So yeah, we Nib. Go ahead and blow all those guys up, give them the Nib token, and yeah, calculating attack and defense just in case, you know, it does become relevant inside of the match. And I do believe like he just goes ahead, set some back row there, comes and passes to my turn. We're just gonna attack over the Nib token. Unfortunately, we opened up with like polymerization and not enough heroes or order to do anything, but we do have super poly, so we go ahead and set the super poly. And if he does start to, you know, do anything, establish anything on the board, I feel like we'll just super poly him, keep him from getting Exceed monster out on the board, which will, you know, kill like most of his graveyard effects and everything. So as you can see, as soon as he throws 2 monsters down there on the board, we super poly him, go ahead and make Mud Dragon. And now we see that the card that he drew was another trap card, which he does set down to the board. And still no hero cards and such here, but it's all good. We have a lot of damage and such on the board. We actually drew Drop It also. So even if he does start to try to get something rolling on the next turn, we'll just like drop it, hit it with something. He goes ahead and flips up non-fusion era, which is, you know, pretty crazy. People get tired of losing the heroes and such at my local. So yeah, you can expect things like that. It's the droll, and we're just kind of attacking, going back and forth here. Neither one of us are drawing, you know, well, but, you know, it's one of those games where you draw your side deck cards and you're actually able to win the game. So, yeah, pretty simple, easy win there with Cosmo Neos. Appreciate you for staying a while to listen, and I will catch you on the next video.
My wingman, he come through, he level up, he go cool, he's shining out and popping too. Over 9K, that's a breakthrough. We on top now. Here's a look at our world.